Shalom, shalom. Joyful Pasakh. We're going to do the Shama. As you know, it's taken from Devarim or Deuteronomy 6, verse 4 to 9. So after 2, Akhad, Shatim. Shama YaHUaH, YaHUaH Eloheinu, YaHUaH Akhad. Uahabat at YaHUaH Alai, Bakal, Lababak, Ubakal, Napashak, Ubakal, Mada, Uayu, Adamarim, Ahala, Ashar, Anaki, Masuk, Ayum, Al Labak, Ushanantam, Labanik, Udabarak, Bam, Bashaptak, Babaita, Ubalaptak, Badarak, Ubashakbak, Ubakuma, Ukashartam, Al Yadak, Uhayu, Latatapat, Bain Aini, Ukatamtam, Al Makazu, Bita, Ubasharik, Shama. And here we have in a more familiar language. After 2, Akhad, Shatim. Hear and obey Israel, YaHUaH, your mighty one, YaHUaH is one. And you shall love YaHUaH, your Elohim, with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this yom on your heart, you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as a reminder between your eyes. And you shall write them on the posts of your house and on your gates. Shama. Shalom, shalom, Israel. Joyful appointed time to all Israel scattered across the Iraq. We're in that time of Passover. And Passover is not an event you attend. Passover is a moment you must be ready for. Because in scripture, Passover did not begin with singing. It did not begin with gathering. It did not begin with celebration. However, Passover began with confrontation, resistance, and tension.
Shemot chapters 10 and 11, or Exodus chapters 10 and 11. And YaHUaH said to Moshe, Go into Parah, for I have hardened his heart and the hearts of his servants, so that I show these signs of mine before him, and that you relate in the hearing of your ban and in your ban's ban what I have done in Mitzrayim, and my signs which I have done among them. And you shall know that I am YaHUaH. And Moshe and Aharon came into Parah and said to him, Thus says YaHUaH, Elohim of the Hebrews, or the Abarim, till when shall you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go, so that they serve me. Or else, if you refuse to let my people go, see, tomorrow I am bringing locusts within your borders, and they shall cover the surface of the land, so that no one is able to see the land. And they shall eat the rest of what has escaped, which remains to you from the hail. And they shall eat every tree which grows up from you out of the field, for you out of the field. And they shall fill your houses, and the houses of all your servants, and the houses of all the Mitzrites, which neither your fathers nor your fathers' fathers have seen, since the yom that they were on the Arat to this yom. Then he turned and went out from Parah, and Parah's servants said to him, Till when would this one be a snare to us? Let the men go, so that they serve YaHUaH, their Elohim. Do you not yet know that Matzarim is destroyed? And Mashah and Aharon were brought back to Parah. And he said to them, Go serve YaHUaH, your Elohim. Who are the ones that are going? And Mashah said, We are going with our young and our old, with our sons and our daughters, with our flocks and our herds. We are going, for we have a festival to YaHUaH. And he said to them, Let YaHUaH be with you, as I let you and your little ones go. Watch, for evil is before your face. Not so. You men go now and serve YaHUaH, for that is what you desired. And they were driven out from before the presence of Parah. And YaHUaH said to Mashah, Stretch out your hand over the land of Matzarim, for the locusts to come upon the land of Matzarim, and to eat every plant of the land, all that the hail has left. And Mashah stretched out his rod over the land of Matzarim, and YaHUaH brought an east wind on the land all that yom and all that laylah. Bakar came, and the east wind brought the locusts, and the locusts went up over all the land of Matzarim, and settled within all the borders of Matzarim, very grievous. There had never been locusts like them before, nor would there again be like them. And they covered the surface of all the land, so that the land was darkened. And they ate every plant of the land, and all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left, and no greenness was left on the trees, or on the plants of the field in all the land of Matzarim. Parah then called for Mashah and Aharon in haste, and said, I have done wrong against YaHUaH, your Elohim, and against you. And now, please, forgive my wrongs, only this once, and pray to YaHUaH, your Elohim, that he would only turn away this death from me. And he went out from Parah and prayed to YaHUaH, and YaHUaH turned a very strong west wind, which took the locusts away, and blew them into the sea of reeds. Not one locust was left within all the border of Matzarim. However, YaHUaH hardened the heart of Parah, and he did not let the children of Israel go. And YaHUaH said to Mashah, Stretch out your hand toward the Shamayim, and let there be darkness over the land of Matzarim, even a darkness which is felt. And Mashah stretched out his hand toward the Shamayim, and there was thick darkness in all the land of Matzarim for 3 yomim, or days. They did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 yomim, while all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. And Parah called to Mashah and said, Go, serve YaHUaH. Only leave your flocks and your herds behind. Let your little ones go with you too. But Mashah said, You yourself are to provide us with slaughterings and burnt offerings to prepare for YaHUaH, our Elohim. And our livestock are to go with us too. Not a hoof is to be left behind, for we have to take some of them to serve YaHUaH, our Elohim. And we ourselves do not know with what we are to serve YaHUaH until we come there. However, YaHUaH hardened the heart of Parah, and he would not let them go. And Parah said to him, Get away from me. Watch yourself and see my face no more. For in the yom you see my face, you die. And Mashah said, You have spoken rightly. Never again do I see your face. And YaHUaH, chapter 11. And YaHUaH said to Mashah, I am bringing yet one more plague on Parah and on Matzarim. After that he is going to let you go from here. When he lets you go, he shall drive you out from here altogether. Speak now in the hearing of the people, and let every man ask from his neighbor, and every Asha from her neighbor, objects of silver and objects of gold. And YaHUaH gave the people favor in the eyes of the Matzri. And the man Mashah was very great in the land of Matzarim, in the eyes of Parah's servants, and in the eyes of the people. And Mashah said, Thus said YaHUaH, about midnight I am going out into the midst of Matzarim, and all the firstborn in the land of Matzarim shall die, from the firstborn of Parah, who sits on his throne, even to the firstborn of the female slave or servant who is behind the handmill, and all the firstborn of cattle. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Matzarim, such as has never been or ever be again. But against any of the children of Yisrael no dog shall move his tongue, against man or against beast, so that you know that YaHUaH makes distinction between Matzarim and Yisrael. And all these servants of yours shall come down to me, and bow down to me, saying, Get out, you and all the people at your feet, and after that I shall go out. And he went out from Parah in great displeasure. But YaHUaH said to Mashah, Parah is not going to listen to you. In order to multiply my wonders in the land of Matzarim. And Mashah and Aharon did all these wonders before Parah. However, YaHUaH hardened the heart of Parah, and he did not let the children of Yisrael go out of his land.
So, many people did not realize this. Before there was blood on doorposts, there was a clash between two authorities, not Mashah versus Pharaoh. No, nothing like that. That was too small. It was YaHUaH against a system. A system that held its people, a system that had shaped their thinking, a system that had defined their rhythm of life, a system that had become normal to them. And this is where we must begin tonight. Because if you do not understand the system, you will never understand the deliverance. Shamut, or Exodus 10, verse 28 to 29. And Parah said to him, Get away from me. watch yourself, and see my face no more. For in the day you see my face, you die. And Masha said, you have spoken rightly. Never again do I see your face. Mashpakhah, feel that moment. Do not read it quickly. Stand inside it. Para is not speaking casually. This is not irritation. This is not a light exchange. This is the voice of a man who believes he still has control. See my face no more. In other words, I'm finished with you. I am done hearing you. I will not be warned again. And there are people who, despite warning and showing them research, who have said the same thing in their heart. I have heard enough. I know what is being said. I understand the message, but I will not change.
Para had seen too much to still be unmoved. He had seen water become blood. He had seen darkness that could be felt. He had seen the sky release destruction. He had seen land collapse piece by piece. And yet he stands and says, no more. No more.
This is not ignorance. This is resistance. And there's a big difference. Ignorance means you do not know. Resistance means you know and refuse. And Passover does not deal with ignorance. Passover confronts resistance. Oh, Mashpakhah, look carefully at Para. Because Para represents something deeper than a man. Para represents the illusion of control. He believes he controls the land. He also believes he controls the people. He believes he controls the outcome. But what he does not realize is that every moment he resists, he's moving closer to a line already drawn. See, because YaHUaH does not argue endlessly, he does not debate forever, he does not plead continuously, there comes a moment where he stops contending and start concluding. And Para is standing in that moment, but he does not know it. And this is the danger of spiritual blindness. You can be at the edge of right ruling and still feel in control. You can be moments away from collapse and still feel stable. You can be standing at the door of something irreversible and still say, I am fine. Now we're going to shift from Para voice to YaHUaH's voice. Because Para spoke last in chapter 10, but he did not speak finally. Shamut 11 verse 1.
And YaHUaH said to Masha, I am bringing yet one more plague on Para and on Matzerim. After that, he is going to let you go from here. When he lets you go, he shall drive you out from here altogether.
See what YaHUaH said? One more. I want that to simmer. He did not say 10 more. He did not say several more. He just said one more. Not an ongoing progress. one more. Because there comes a time when YaHUaH does not extend the process. He completes it. And this is where the weight of this moment sits. Because many people believe there will always be more time, more warning, more chances, more opportunities to adjust. But what we see happening through scripture, it shows us something different. There is a final moment. A moment where YaHUaH says, this is the last time I will move in this way. And after that, everything changes. Now we come to one of the most chilling decorations in all of scripture. Shamut 11 verse 4 to 5.
And Masha said, Thus says YaHUaH, about midnight I am going out into the midst of Matzarim, and all the firstborn in the land of Matzarim shall die, from the firstborn of Parah who sits on his throne, even to the firstborn of the female servant who is behind the handmill, and all the firstborn of cattle.
Midnight. And you may ask, why midnight? You see, midnight is a time of unawareness. Midnight is a time when activity has ceased. Midnight is a time when people are no longer alert. Midnight is the hour where everything appears quiet. But something is moving, and YaHUaH shows at that hour he will move.
Not in the open, not in the noise, not in the activity, but in the stillness. And this is how he works. Not always when people are watching, but when they are unaware.
And then he says, and all the firstborn shall die. Mashpakhah, this is not symbolic. This is not poetic. This is not metaphor. This is right ruling, direct, precise, and unavoidable.
And notice what is targeted. Firstborn, not random individuals, not scattered people. The firstborn presents the beginning of strength, continuation of lineage, the future of the host, which means YaHUaH is not just touching the present, he's cutting off the future of the great system of Matzarim.
Now comes something even more profound. Shamut 11 verse 7.
But against any of the children of Israel, no dog shall move its tongue against man or against beast, so that you know that YaHUaH makes distinction between Matzarim and Israel.
Difference. But here's the key. The difference is declared before it is seen. Nothing has happened yet. No one has died yet. No cry has gone out yet. What YaHUaH says, there is already a difference. Which means separation begins in the unseen before it manifests in the seen. And guess what? Many people miss this. Many miss this. They think separation happens at the event. That's not how it works. Separation happens before the event. By the time midnight comes, the decision has already been made.
Now here is where the message presses deeper. After this declaration, life continues. People go home, people eat, people rest, people speak. Just like now, where the great warning is given about the great judgment or right ruling that is coming. And this is the most dangerous moment, because normalcy can hide approaching right ruling or judgment. Everything looks the same right before everything changes. And this is where many are trapped, because they measure reality by appearance. If nothing is happening, then nothing is wrong. But scripture shows us something different.
Now let us return to Paro one more time, because his condition is a warning. Paro saw everything. Paro experienced everything. Paro was confronted repeatedly, and yet Paro remained unchanged. Which tells us something very serious, Mashpakhah. Exposure does not equal transformation. It shows that you can hear the truth and not change. You can see power and not submit. You can be warned and still resist.
And this is why Passover is not safe for everyone. Because Passover does not protect those who are simply informed or aware of the instruction. Passover protects those who are obedient to the instruction.
So now we stand at a critical point in the story. The right ruling has been declared. The time has been established. The difference has been established. But something is missing. Israel knows what is coming, but they do not yet know what to do. And this is where the tension rises, because awareness alone does not save. So knowing something is coming does not protect you from it. There must be instruction, there must be obedience, there must be alignment. And YaHUaH does not leave his people guessing. He gives instruction which are precise, which are detailed and non-negotiable. And the question is not, do you understand? This is the question. Will you obey? See, Matzarim or Egypt is still standing. The houses are still in place. The streets are still quiet. The routines have not yet been interrupted. But something has changed. A word has gone forth. A line has been drawn. A time has been established. Midnight Mashpakhah is coming. And the danger of this moment is that nothing looks different. There's no visible sign in the sky, no shaking of the earth, no alarm sounding through the street. Everything feels normal. But the Shamayim has already moved. So, up to this point, YaHUaH has been speaking outward. He has been confronting Paro. He has been displaying power openly. He has been making himself known publicly. But now, Mashpakhah, something shifts. YaHUaH becomes quiet towards Matzarim and begins to speak privately to his people. Shamut 12, verse 1.
And YaHUaH spoke to Mashah and to Aharon in the land of Matzarim, saying,
Do not rush past that. is still in Matsari, but now he's no longer adjusting Matsari.
And this is a pattern. There comes a point where YaHUaH stop arguing with system and start preparing his people. He stopped proving himself to the resistant and start instructing the obedient. And if you are not attentive in this moment, you will miss what he is saying, because the volume changes and it is no longer loud. It is no longer outward. It becomes precise, direct, and intentional. Now understand that everything that follows determines who lives and who does not. You see, before midnight arrives, instruction is given. Not after, not during, but before. What does this mean? If you wait until the moment comes, it is already too late. And many people make this mistake.
They wait for pressure before they prepare. They wait for crisis before they obey. They wait for a moment before they move. But YaHUaH always speaks before the event.
Shamot 12, verse 3.
Speak to all the congregation of Israel, saying, on the 10th yom of this month, which is the first month, each one of them is to take for himself a lamb, according to the house of his ahabah, a lamb for a household.
This is not just instruction, Mashpakhah. This is process. The lamb is not taken at the last minute. It is selected days before. And why? Why is this? Because YaHUaH does not rush preparation. He gives time for examination. You do not grab anything. You do not choose casually. You do not act randomly. You select carefully, because what is about to happen requires precision. Shamot 12, verse 6.
And you shall keep it until the 14th yom of the same month. Then all the assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it between the evenings. Keep it. Not just choose it. Live with it. Observe it. Watch it. For days. Or yomim. The lamb is in the house. The children see it. The family interacts with it. It becomes present in their space. And this is intentional, because YaHUaH does not want a distant sacrifice. He wants a sacrifice you have encountered, something you have seen, something you have known, something you understand the cost of. Because when the moment comes, this will not feel casual.
Now, imagine the house. Lamb is there. The instruction has been given. The time is approaching. But midnight has not yet come. This is the silence. A strange silence. Not peaceful. Not relaxed. But heavy. Because someone knows something is coming. But it has not happened yet. And this is one of the hardest places to be. The place between knowing and experiencing, between instruction and fulfillment. The place where you must act without first seeing. Because understand this, Mashpakhah. You see, at this point, nothing has happened yet. No death, no cry, no visible judgment or right ruling. And yet, they must act as if it is certain. Mashpakhah, this is steadfast trust. Not belief as a feeling, but obedience before evidence appeared. So what they did, they prepared the lamb. They organized their house. They follow instruction. Not because they see it happening, but because YaHUaH said it. And this is where many fail. Because they want confirmation before obedience. But YaHUaH requires obedience first before confirmation. This instruction was not given to a crowd. It was given to houses. Each house had to act. No one could do it for them. No one could substitute for them. No one could delay for them. And this is where the weight increases, Mashpakhah. Because your house is your responsibility. Not your neighbor's house. Not another family's house. Your house.
What is happening inside your space? What is happening in your conversation? What is happening in your obedience? Because when midnight comes, it does not check group identity, it checks alignment.
Now we slow even further. The days are passing. The lamb is in the house. The instruction has been heard. The people are preparing. But Egypt is still unaware. People are still moving, still talking, still living. And this is the tension. Two realities existing at the same time. One group preparing, one group unaware. One group aligning, one group continuing normally. And both are about to experience the same night, but not the same outcome. Now we come to the edge. Everything is ready. The lamb has been kept. The instruction has been given. The people have heard, but the act has not yet been completed. And midnight is approaching. And this is where we stand. Not in Matsari, but in our time now in the same pattern. A word has gone forth. Instruction has been given. Time is moving. And the question is no longer, do you understand? The question is, have you prepared? Because in the next moment, everything will hinge on one act. The lamb will no longer just be observed. It will be slain. The blood will no longer be theoretical. It will be applied. And the difference that was declared will now be revealed. Shamut 12, verse 6 to 30.
And you shall keep it until the 14th yom of the same month, and all the assembly of the congregation of Yisrael shall kill it between the evenings. And they shall take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts on the lintel of the houses where they eat it. And they shall eat the flesh on that laylah, roasted in fire with unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Do not eat it raw, nor boiled at all with water, but roasted in fire, its head with its legs and its inward parts, and do not leave of it until bakar or morning. And what remains of it until morning you are to burn with fire. And this is how you eat it: your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it in haste, and it is the Passover of YaHUaH. And I shall pass through the land of Matzarim on that laylah, and shall smite all the firstborn in the land of Matzarim, both man and beast, and all the mighty ones of Matzarim shall execute right ones. On all of them I shall execute right ruling. I am YaHUaH, and the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I shall pass over you, and let the plague not come on you to destroy you when I smite the land of Matzarim.
Now, we have arrived at the moment. No more observing, no more waiting, no more watching from a distance. Everything that has been building now requires action. Hear this clearly. Instruction has been given, but instruction does not save. Knowing what to do does not protect you. Only doing it does. And the lamb that was selected, the lamb that was observed, the lamb that was kept in the house must now be slain. And this is where the tone changes, because up until now everything could feel manageable. Selecting is easy, observing is easy, keeping is easy, but killing requires confrontation. It requires a face. Because the lamb did not do anything wrong, it was without blemish, it was acceptable, it was chosen, and yet it must die. And this reveals something deep. Deliverance is not free.
Barashit, or Genesis 22, verse 7 to 8.
Barashit 22, verses 7 to 8. And Yitzchak spoke to Abraham, his father, and said, Abi. And he said, Here I am, Bani. And he said, See, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? And Abraham said, Bani, Elohim will provide himself the lamb for a burnt offering. And the two of them went together.
So from the beginning, there was always a lamb in the pattern. A lamb tied to provision, a lamb tied to substitution. a lamb title, deliverance. And now in Matthew, the pattern is no longer prophetic. It is present. The lamb is no longer spoken of. It is in the house, and now it must die. And Shamut 12 verse 7, and they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door posts. It was not enough to kill the lamb. The blood had to be applied, which means the sacrifice alone was not sufficient. There had to be application. And this is where many misunderstand. They acknowledge sacrifice, but they do not apply it. They speak of deliverance, but they do not align with it. They understand truth, but they do not walk in it. But YaHUaH did not say, kill the lamb and stay inside. He said, take the blood and put it on the door. And once it's on the door, it is visible. It is intentional. It is specific. Zaqan 17 verse 11.
Zaqan 17 verse 11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make atonement for your lives, for it is the blood that makes atonement for the life.
The blood is not decoration, it carries chai for life. And this is why it had to be placed at the entrance, because the entrance represents access, what enters, what exits, what is permitted, and the blood becomes the marker.
The blood was not placed inside the house, not on the roof, not in the secret. It was placed on the door, because the door is the point of encounter. It is where inside meets outside. It is where covering meets exposure. And YaHUaH says that is where the blood must be. Shamut 12 verse 8.
And they shall eat the flesh on that lela, roasted in fire with unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
They shall eat the flesh, not admire it, not discuss it, not leave it untouched. Eat it, internalize it, make it part of you. Because deliverance is not external alone, or only, it must become internal, part of you. Shamut 12 verse 11.
And this is how you eat it: your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Passover of YaHUaH.
Wow. So this is critical with regards how they were to eat it. They were not to eat it casually, not relaxed, not distracted, not unprepared. They were to eat and be ready to move, because deliverance requires readiness. Tahal 119 verse 60. I made haste and delayed not to keep your commandments. No delay, no hesitation, because when YaHUaH moves, we must be ready. Shamut 12 verse 10.
And do not leave of it until Bakar, and what remains of it until Bakar or morning, you are to burn with fire.
Nothing left behind. No partial obedience. No leftovers. No fragment of instruction ignored. Everything must be consumed. Everything must be handled. Everything must be completed. Because partial obedience is still disobedience. Adabarim, or Deuteronomy 8 verse 1.
Guard to do every command which I command you today, that you might live and shall increase, and go in and shall possess the land of which YaHUaH swore to your oath.
All, not some, not convenient ones, all the commands. Shamut 12 verse 12 to 13.
And I shall pass through the land of Mitzrayim on that Layla, and shall smite all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, both man and beast, and on all the mighty ones of Mitzrayim I shall execute right ruling. And I am YaHUaH, and the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are, and when I see the blood, I shall pass over you, and let the plague not come on you to destroy you when I smite the land of Mitzrayim.
I want you to notice carefully. You realize YaHUaH did not say, when I see your identity as a native born, or he say, when I see your history, or did he say, when I see your intention? This is what YaHUaH said. When I see the blood. Which means the distinction was not internal feeling. It was visible obedience. Death passed through all Mitzrayim. Not part of it, not section of it. All of it. Which means our people were not exempt from the event. If they were only protected because of their obedience, if they were only protected because of their obedience, if they did not apply the blood, whether or not they were native born, they also will not be spared. And this is the truth many do not want to face. Proximity to truth does not protect you. Even for those who are sojourners, association with people in the truth does not protect you. Hearing the message does not protect you. Only obedience marks you. Now everything is in place. The lamb has been slain. The blood has been applied. The house is prepared. The people are ready. And now, there is nothing left to do but wait. Midnight is here. And what happened next cannot be reversed. When death passes over, Shamut 12 verse 29 to 42.
And it came to be at midnight that YaHUaH smote all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, from the firstborn of Parah who sat on his throne to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of livestock. And Parah rose up in the Layla, he and all his servants, and all the Mitzri. And there was a great cry in Mitzrayim, for there was not a house where there was not a dead one. Then he called for Mashah and Aharon by Leela, and said, Arise, go out from the midst of my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve YaHUaH, you as you have said. Take both your flocks and your herds, as you have said, and go. Then you shall Barak me too. And the Mitzrayites urged the people to hasten to send them away out of the land, for they said, We are all dying. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, having their kneading bowls bound up in their garments on their shoulders. And the children of Israel had done according to the word of Mashah, and they had asked from the Mitzrayites objects of silver and objects of gold and garments. And YaHUaH gave the people favor in the eyes of the Mitzrayites, so that they gave them what they asked, and they plundered the Mitzrayites. And the children of Israel went out from Ramesses of Succoth, about 600,000 men on foot, besides the little ones, and a mixed multitude went up with them too. Also flocks and herds, very much livestock, and they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they had brought out of Mitzrayim, for it was not leavened, since they were driven out of Mitzrayim, and had not been able to delay, nor had they prepared food for themselves. And the sojourn of the children of Israel, who lived in Mitzrayim, was 430 years. And it came to be at the end of the 430 years, on that same Yom, it came to be that all the divisions of YaHUaH went out from the land of Mitzrayim. It is a Leila to be observed unto YaHUaH for bringing them out of the land of Mitzrayim. This Leila is unto YaHUaH to be observed by all the children of Israel throughout their generations.
The people of the Most High are inside, and outside, Mitzrayim is still breathing. The night has come, and now we step into the moment that cannot be undone. Shamut 12, verse 29.
And it came to be at midnight that YaHUaH smote all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, from the firstborn of Parah who sat on his throne, to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the livestock.
So not before, not after, exactly as YaHUaH said. Because when YaHUaH establishes a time, He keeps it. This was the appointed time, not random, not emotional, not reactive, but precise. And when that moment arrived, YaHUaH moved. Not Masha, not human hands, YaHUaH Himself. So, no rank spared, no class protected, no status exempt, from the highest throne to the lowest prison. Which means, right ruling does not respect human hierarchy. It does not pause for wealth. It does not bend for position. It does not overlook influence. Ayub 34, verse 19.
You said Job 34. Verse 19. Who is not partial to princes, nor regards the rich more than the poor? For they are all the work of his hands.
So YaHUaH is not impressed by what impresses men. Shamot 12 verse 30.
Luke 12 verse 30. And Para rose up in the Layla, and he and all his servants, and all the Mitzri. And there was a great cry in Matzrim, for there was not a house where there was not a dead one.
Hear this. A cry that had never been heard before. Not a small sound, not isolated grief, a collective cry. House after house, room after room, family after family, loss, shock, realization because what was spoken has now become reality. And notice this, Mashpakhah. They did not cry when the warning came. They did not cry when Masha spoke. They did not cry when the signs appeared. They cried when it was too late. So while Masarim is crying, the people of YaHUaH are inside, still, quiet, and covered. Because in the same night, two realities are unfolding. Right ruling and protection. Loss and preservation. Crying and silence. Tahalim 91 or Psalms 91 verse 7 to 8.
"1,000 fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it does not come near you. Only with your eyes you look on and see the reward of the wrong ones, because you have made YaHUaH, my refuge, the Most High, your dwelling place."
So the difference is not the absence of danger. The difference is the presence of covering. So what made the difference? Not nationality. Clearly not lineage. And it's clearly not proximity. What makes the difference? The blood. The blood, this is what made the difference. This is the dividing line. Not emotion, not intention, not awareness, but obedience. Visible, applied, and complete. We're going to read Zaqan 20, verse 38.
"And purge the rebels from among you, and those who transgress against me. For the land where they sojourn, I bring them from the land where they sojourn, I bring them out. But they shall not come into the land of Yisrael, and you shall know that I am YaHUaH."
So even among a people, there is separation, and Passover reveals it. Shamot 12 verse 31 to 32.
Then he called for Masha and Aharon by Leela and said, "Arise, go out from the midst of my people, both you and the children of Yisrael, and go, serve YaHUaH as you have said. Take both your flocks and your herds as you have said, and go. Then you shall barak me too."
Wow. You see, Para start to yield. Now he decided to release Yahuwah's people. Now he start to sound different, start to speak different. But I want you to notice when it happens. This is after the right ruling, after the loss, after the cry. And this is the danger. Delay obedience still leads to consequence. You can change your mind after the moment has passed, but you cannot undo what has already been done. Shamut 12, verse 33.
And the Mitzrites urged the people to hasten to send them away out of the land, for they said, "We are all dying."
Wow. Now, the pressure shifts. The same people who resisted now push them out. Because when Yahuwah moves them, what once held you cannot hold you anymore.
YaHUaH.
Tahal 105, verse 38.
Matsurim was glad when they left, for the fear of them had fallen upon them.
Wow. So what once oppress you will release you. But you must be ready to go because they left quickly. Shamut 12, verse 34.
And the people took their dough before it was leavened, having their kneading bowls bound up in their garments on their shoulders.
So no time to adjust. No time to gather anymore. No time to rethink. They move with what was already prepared. Which means your preparation determines your departure. Shamut 12, verse 42.
Verse 42. It is Alila to be observed unto Yahuwah for bringing them out of the land of Matsurim. This Laila is unto Yahuwah to be observed by all the children of Yisrael throughout your generations.
Observed, guarded, remembered. Not casually, not lightly, because this night reveals something eternal. That Yahuwah separates, delivers, judges, and preserves. This is not just history. This is a pattern. Let's look at Yeshayahu 26, verse 20.
Go, my people, enter your rooms and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourself, as it were, for a little while, until the displeasure is past.
So the pattern remains. Enter, cover, wait, be preserved. My beloved Mashpakhah, what is on your door? Not what you say, not what you feel. What is applied? What has been obeyed? What has been aligned? Because when Yahuwah moves, he's not asking, did you hear? He's looking at, did you do? Midnight is not announced when it arrives. It simple comes.
YaHUaH.
YaHUaH. So now we stand before Passover, not as observers, not as spectators, but as people who have heard, who have been instructed, who now must decide. Because the same pattern stands. There is a lamb who is Yahushua and Mashiach.
YaHUaH.
There is instruction in the Torah. There is a house. There is a covering. There is a moment. And there is a passing over. When YaHUaH moves, will your house be marked?